So in the past 10, 20 or 30 years, society's changed quite a lot, and we want our education systems to keep up with that change. One of the things that your school has decided to do is to become a restorative school. Now you may be thinking, well, what does that mean for my child exactly? And that's what this short video is going to explain. Part of it is developing their emotional intelligence, and if you've never heard of that, that's what I'm going to show you next. So what exactly is involved in a restorative school? Well, a big emphasis is on how well children manage themselves, whether that's their emotions, their actions, their choices, their behaviours. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of that revolves around the skills in emotional intelligence. Now, what exactly is emotional intelligence? Well, there's different research out there, but the ones that we particularly like are self-awareness, empathy, emotional regulation, skills like grit, determination, resilience, and then general social skills. We live in a really interconnected world now, and we want your children to have the skills that are best able to help them navigate it. So let me give you this example. Imagine you've got two children, whether it's in the classroom or at home, and they're playing together really nicely, and then something happens and one of them starts crying. They're not sharing, they're snatching from each other. So what do? We often walk in, we tell them to share. Doesn't always work. So we tell one of them, it's your turn now, and then it's your turn in 5 minutes time. Well, that doesn't work sometimes as well. And eventually we run out of steam, we run out of energy, and we just get frustrated, everyone starts crying, and we just walk off. So have we actually taught them to regulate their emotions there, to be aware of each other, to have empathy, or any of the social skills that we may want to teach them? So we've tried to fix the problem. And if we aren't careful, we go about this over and over and over again, going round and round in circles, not particularly teaching our children very much in these interactions, other than the adult needs to step in to resolve this problem. But what we actually want to do is take the time to teach our children to resolve problems like this, whether it's at home, whether it's in the classroom. Can we give them the skills to nip these things in the bud so that they don't need our help to do it? Now, if you're interested in this in a little bit more, we do have a longer version of this video where we're going to break this down in more details. So if you're interested, have a look for that link. Now, a tool that your school will be using more are circles. So usually once a week, tends to be on a Monday morning, your child may sit in a circle similar to this. It might be a bit bigger, it might be a bit smaller, and they will go around answering questions about themselves. It could be things like, what's your favourite donut flavour? Or who's your favourite YouTuber at the moment? Whatever is relevant to their age. And it's a great way of developing some of those emotional intelligence skills, like being more patient, or listening to each other, or being able to talk in front of a group of their peers. It's a really lovely way of the class connecting together, not just with each other, but with also their teacher. Now, if you're concerned that your child might struggle with something like this, they might be stressed or anxious or nervous about doing something in a circle, don't worry. This is something that we work with your school on to give each child the skills necessary to be involved in time. It might not be something they do straight away, but we want every child to feel that they have the option to if they wish to. So another tool your school might use is a small restorative meeting. Now, this is where two children are brought together when they've fallen out just a little bit to try and help them resolve the problem. And it's a great way for your child to develop their own problem-solving skills as well. Now, it might be that they don't need to be involved in these meetings particularly, and that's absolutely fine. But if they are, some of the questions that they use are things like, what's happened? What are your thoughts and feelings about that? Who else has been affected by the situation? What do you need? And how are we going to move this forward? So these types of questions promote honesty, responsibility, accountability, all things that we want for our children as parents or as teachers. Now, if you're interested in finding out more, as I mentioned earlier, there is a longer video you can find the link for. But really appreciate you taking the time to watch this as a parent. If you're after more information, please don't hesitate to contact us at Wales Restorative Approaches Partnership.